Welcome to another SH Figuarts knockoff video. Some boxes just fell off from the side. So yeah, pretty cool experiences with the Cougar knockoff so far. Rising Mighty, Amazing Mighty, and Ultimate. A few things that differ from the official one, but for the prices, they were pretty awesome. These cost the same price as the Cougar stuff. However, the experience here is not as good as the Kamen Rider Cougar figures. In fact, I would say that these bootleg figures are in the quality realm of what people would think of when people hear the word bootlegs. Not like Mexican Ninja Turtle bootlegs or something as bad as that, but pretty close. And just for a bonus stuff, here is Akuma bootleg, because we'll just take a look at that as well. So, but without further ado, these are obviously based on the 20th anniversary stuff, the new packaging, and which means that it should come with a stand. This is all false advertising, by the way, because what you get inside is a little bit different, let's just say that. All of the Bandai logos are of course removed, or just lazily scrubbed away, blurred away, etc, etc, and yeah, all copyright stuff is removed from these boxes. So these have square tape, very thick square tape, and the overall box feels a little bit softer or flimsier than what I would expect from official Figuarts. So yeah, wait, I'm pretty sure I opened this once already. Oh yeah, there you go. So pull that out, and ugh. So no instruction sheets in these, just a white backing card, and let's just open the first one as well. Might as well get it over with. So the sticker quality itself is okay. It's shiny. It kind of falls out the edge, so that's no good. But the print quality itself is not too bad. However, let me just bring in, I only have one of these from the Kiva release. If for the official one, there's a hole there. You can unpeg this and plug in Tamashii Stage Jack arm so you can hold the figure up. And this piece comes off so you can replace the paper sheet in there. And let's see, the paper is the same size as what we have here. But so while that's replaceable, you can swap it out for other things. These are just stuck down and they just molded shut this hole. So there's no Tamashii Stage Jack thing for this. The plastic itself is a shinier plastic than the official one, a bit more of a matte-ish feel. So, and you can see the sticker's not flat. While the sticker quality itself is okay, in the official one, it's a piece of paper, it's not stuck down, and you can swap it out and stuff. So yeah, let me just remove these boxes. Much like the Cougar one, the plastic tray themselves are way softer and uneven, which is why they have sellotape to hold it together. So let me just open that up. So yeah, put a little plastic sheet in there to, I don't know, to A, protect the figure from scratches and stuff, or B, to give it an extra layer to hide that it's not as good as the official ones. See, big plastic sheet on that one, just sort of covering it. They do that, some official figures do that, you know, it is to protect the figures, but I don't think I've seen that for Kamen Rider figures though. So anyway, let's get this sticker sheet out of the way. Accessories, you do get what you would get with the official ones, so same amount of accessories and stuff. You can see that they've actually taped this down just to make sure the hands don't fall out the place. I also noticed that this shoulder horn thing has already fallen off because it is not molded properly, and they just sort of try to lazily super glue it on. So the bootleg looks rough. That's the polite way of saying it. Christ, he's also a little bit taller than the official one. That's probably because none of the joints actually plug in that well. If I just zoom up, you see even his hands are taller. Why? Because you see there, look at the huge gap around where the joint's supposed to be. The arms don't plug in. This is kind of like the Cougar Ultimate figure and the Cougar Amazing Mighty figure. It's just not quite good in terms of the shoulder joints, so everything's just stretched out just a little bit. The molding on the compound eye is totally messed up, so that kind of sucks in terms of quality control. Otherwise, the blue is a little bit more on the greener side, and on the red eyes, that seems to be copied much closer, but it's got a little bit of faded effect. The overall blue and red coloring is nowhere near as metallic and shiny as the official one. It's a little bit sort of a regular paint with a bit of glitter in it, so yeah. Does that handlebar turn? Yes, it does. The overall paint job is also a lot more rough as well compared to the entire figure. Moving down, you see that the elbow joints also don't plug in all the way. The belt itself looks okay-ish, but the detailing there is very blurred, and those bottles I actually painted nicer than the official one. It's darker color. In fact, the reissue of Build has nicer colored bottles, a bit more coloring in them, so they've got that going for it. It's closer to the reissue, I guess. But otherwise, those bottles don't come out. They are glued down permanently, probably because the entire thing likes to fall apart. So they probably figured that they should just glue it down. Or maybe it's not glued down, but it won't come out. Moving over to the back, yep, the overall roughness compared to the official one. Huge weird patch there, I don't know what's going on there. The belt, ironically, is a little bit more metallic than the official one, where it shouldn't be. So oopsies there. See that the leg joint's actually also slightly different as well. And yeah, at the bottom of the feet, the white lining is a bit messed up, a bit faded, not as white as the official one, but technically all the details are indeed copied from the official one. Just everything is just like this thing has been in acid for like 10 seconds and everything's just melted a little bit. I also noticed that a lot of the joints and articulations, for example this foot, is very loose. That's no good. So but otherwise, in terms of actual articulation, he still has for the most part the same ones as the official one. So, oh, they did bother painting the back silver, and that's something. So the head goes down, up, sideways, sideways. Weird paint patch messed up there. Torso goes a little bit back, a little bit forward. And this thing likes to pop out too, by the way. Oh, there we go. So you're gonna have to constantly pop that back in. Shoulder pads do come down, but way too down. Shows up much too much of the joint. Dumbbell joint there. It is there. Full rotation here. Elbow joint. Oh. And it's on a ball peg and swivel, and he's just falling apart. He's like the fake another rider version or whatever. Foot goes up, back, and that's as far as it'll go because it has the incorrect joint. I think this one pops out quite easily. Maybe this one, maybe the Faiz one pops out quite easily. I remember one of them pops out quite easily. So he can only go so far because they actually changed the joints that they've done in here. It's a weird thing that plugs from here all the way down there, and this piece just sort of sits on top of it. So full rotating joint there, double knee joint, and foot goes forward, back. Does it should go sideways. Why is it not going sideways? Does it go in? Yes. Go out? No. Toe goes up a little bit, down, and oh, there we go. It can still fight evil, I guess. Next up, the Faiz figure. He does seem to come with everything the official one does, so let's take a close look at those accessories first. First up with the hands, you know what? The paint job is honestly not too bad. The plastic's a little bit on the rougher side, the fingertips are a little bit on the rougher side, but yeah, these not too bad. You know, kind of gets the job done. Oh, extra plastic there, molding not too well, but you can easily cut that and trim that yourself, and the plastic has a little bit on the rougher side, a bit more of a matte finish. But otherwise, hands are not too bad. I say a bit more on the matte side, but then the inside is shinier than the out. Okay. Let's see, the Faiz sword. Well, the logo there is a little bit rough, but the original one is not that great, to be honest. The red paint is a little bit over, while the silver paint's a little bit rough. And yeah, the coloring is again just a little bit off, but otherwise it's okay. This blade also seems a little bit longer than the official one. The Faiz pointer, again the logo paint a little bit on the rough side, and the molding is a bit softer, a bit messed up. But yeah, all the details are mostly there, just a bit of a more spongier look. Same with the Faiz punching thing, the camera aesthetics are all there. The hand is painted for the most part, just like the official one. Phone and gun mode, now this one is really badly painted. The silver is also a little bit off as well, so this one's probably the worst one. Worst offender out of the lot. My official one also has this one with the attachment, which I don't know if that's because the bootleg doesn't have it or just the new version of the figure doesn't have it. The XL Exceed watch there, they just didn't bother painting some details, and otherwise the molding is also very close. Belt without the Faiz memory. Yep, everything's just a bit more on the blurrier side. Painting is just a little bit on the rough side. That red paint on the side is really messed up, but on the back, yeah. And finally the belt without the phone, and you can see that they didn't mold any of the detailing whatsoever underneath there. It's just a flat black, so that's all gone and missing. The new version of the Faiz figure also doesn't have the phone in just open phone mode. So just looking at the two figures, yeah, again the bootleg's a little bit taller because they've swapped out a bit of the joints, a bit different, and the sockets don't plug in as nicely as the official one. But you know, taller actually is nicer here because the Faiz Figuarts back then, even back then, there was a little bit complaints that they looked a little bit off. But oh well. The bootleg here, the paint job on the top of the torso there, the silver is definitely a lot rougher. On the chest armor there, a bit more patchy and just less consistent. It's like sort of a spray job that they sort of messed up and stuff. But anyway, let's go back to the head. The compound eye effect is there, and they did paint the neck and stuff. Again, the molding is just a little bit on the rougher side. The horns especially, the detailing is a bit missing there. On a quick look at the back. And yeah, but you see that mostly everything is still there. By the way, all of this is made out of soft plastic. You can see it just wobbles a bit more. So this one feels a lot more solid. So some of the joints are looser as well. Moving down to the arms, these don't plug in as nicely as the official one. And you'll see that just like all the other figures, the shoulder pads don't cover the joints as much because it just sort of flays out a bit more. The hands don't really want to go in as much as the official one. The overall black plastic is a bit more shinier, whereas the official one is more matte, and the official one has a nicer shine to the red, whereas this one is more dulled color. But yeah, everything is there. Now this one still has die-cast feet, whereas the bootleg just uses full plastic. No, I made a mistake. This does come with the memory one intact. But the other one also has that bulge molded there that's not like painted properly, whereas this one is actually a different mold with the memory detached, so that's something. Oh, and I noticed the huge red missing from his horns there from the side. That's just off. Now here's where I demonstrate the official one can do like a proper good kick and stuff. You see how far that goes. That's because it has one of the older Figuarts joints, but still it's a ball peg on a little hinge, and this one has its own rotating joint. So that's a lot of movement right there. Whereas the bootleg, I can show this off now because they swapped out this hip joint, and this one falls out actually quite easily. See how you see that goes out? See that? So there's a rotating joint there and just a hinge joint there and a peg right there. So if you plug this foot back in, somehow you can see, well, it still goes a bit out, but you can see all of that is very exposed. The build figure has the same joint, but they just attach a peg on top of that just to hide it, and now there goes this other foot just popping out. So yeah, all of their, you know, bootleg, all these bootleg figures seem to have the same sort of underpants joint. Oh well. In terms of articulation, it goes back, forward, sideways, sideways, so that moves okay actually. Shoulder pads do come down. That's made out of soft plastic that can unplug very easily, so I'll just try to be careful because I can't be bothered if it keeps falling off. This one's very loose there. Up. Is that arm falling out? No? Okay. Rotation there. That's double elbow joint, and it's on a peg and swivel. That's very exposed, that joint. Torso goes very loose, but you know, it's got the hinge there, so you can move very well, but oh my god, that's really loose. And of course you saw the leg joint go up a bit, go back a bit, so can he do a rider kick? Not without his legs just coming off the joint, so he can't kick. So that's much as his legs would bend before falling off. Yeah, that's not going. Double knee joint, and foot goes forward, back, toes go up and down. So yeah. The Akuma Figuarts today still says fighting body in the top of the box right there, but he's got no backing card or arena card or whatever, and none of the Bandai logos on the box itself. And you see that he still comes with all the accessories apart from the backing card, of course, just like the official one. 3 different facial expressions, the different hand poses. Let's see here, there should be a hole somewhere around here. Yep, that pegs in quite nicely, and that feels just as good as the official one. See, the bottom here is, oh, that just came loose. Plug that in, stick that there. Yep, that works. It's got a bit of white paint on the front. That's honestly pretty good. Moving over to the figure itself, the head is copied quite nicely. They've got the hair lining painted in, and I'm sure the color is a little bit off without the official one to compare to, I don't know. The necklace, however, is made out of a hardish plastic, so it just doesn't want to come down or naturally around his neck, and just looks very awkward. You also notice that all the joints are way more exposed than the official Street Fighter Figuarts. I don't have Akuma, but I do have, like, you know, Ryu and Chun-Li and stuff, and their joints are way more hidden with. This is very exposed. His robe is still made out of softish material. You move that around. Torso is hard plastic. Feels kind of cheap, but you know, gets the job done. But it's got a shiny feel to it, whereas the arms are made out of more matte-ish plastic, so there's a huge contrast between that and looks just a little bit off. And again, the torso, see that joint? It's just very exposed. Like everything's probably just a little bit smaller than what it should be. This piece is also soft plastic, so that's cool, I guess. Legs are quite loose actually. So more dramatic poses is going to mess up, but I'm glad they didn't just copy the joints from like the Kamen Rider Figuarts. You know, you still have that extra piece to hide the joint there, that's still there. So they did copy, I think, everything from the official one, all the joints, all the extra plastics and bits. So whatever the official one has, this one does have. It's just everything's more exposed, everything's just a bit on the looser side, and not sure if that joint's meant to be that. But you know, the articulation wise, he's just as good as the official one, I guess. He just looks kind of ugly. Don't get me wrong, he looks off, like he looks like a bootleg, but all things considered, for the price he goes for, this is not bad. Loose joints, you can tighten that back up with you know, drops of like super glue and stuff, and just move the joint around until the glue dries around the joint. So yeah, let's try his accessories. Let's try a different facial expression. Let's see. So I guess I just unplug his face. Oh, that came out quite easily. And let's see how well this plugs in. You know what? That works just fine. Let's try swapping a hand. Ball peg. So that's cool. Yeah, that fits in just fine. Softish plastic for the hands, by the way, just like official Figuarts. So look up, look down, sideways, full rotation there. Arm goes quite far up, down. Got the dumbbell joint there. This one's way loose, but that one's kind of tight. And a little bit of rotation there. Single elbow joint. Well, it is double, but it doesn't move because it's not the wrong way around. I think that's just the wrong way around. So let's plug that back in. Double elbow joint, that's much better, and actually has extra rotation here, so that's cool. They kept that joint. Wonder how long that will last though, because a joint like that is prone to breaking, even on official stuff. But who knows, maybe the softer plastic they use will be better. Let's see, torso goes up, there's a ball joint in there somewhere. Down, sideways, full rotation. Leg goes up, you can do proper rider kick and stuff. And oh, the butt's definitely hidden as well. Single knee joint, foot goes up, back, toe goes up and stuff. So yeah, this is pretty good. So the takeaway is the build of Figuarts, overall rough, really badly put together, incorrect colors, poorly painted, joints are loose, and overall just looks bad. And even at the cheap price, not really worth it. I think you can still get the official one at a decent enough price, so just go ahead and get that. Or even you just get the Figuarts version, you'd probably be much more satisfied than the thing we have here. It's just not good. Like, it's even for the price, the cheaper price, just feels dirty. The Faiz figure fares a little bit better, but due to ruining the rider kick joint, I can't really recommend it that much. And while it's not as rough as, say, the build figure is, it's kind of okay for its price. But again, I would recommend the Figuarts version, because the Figuarts version is, all intents and purposes, better than the official Figuarts that I have in this comparison. I actually prefer the Figuarts one. It's a little bit bigger, but you know, just depending how you pose them, where you stand them, he will fit right in with the Figuarts. The accessories better, and you don't even need good painting skills for the new version of the Figuarts release, because they have silvered up all the silver parts of the figure itself. And you know, when you put it together, the black is separated from the red. Only things that you really need to paint are, I guess, maybe the hands and some of the accessories, but overall the Figuarts is quite good, and the Figuarts can open his chest armor and turn it into an Exceed charge if you really want to do that. In fact, Bandai did release an alternative color version of the model kit for you to do just that, but that's a little bit hard to find. So just get the Figuarts version, maybe two of them, so you have two different colors, so you can do that. The Akuma figure is, for its price, is pretty decent. It probably costs the same as what the NECA one originally came out as, years ago, even a bit cheaper than that. So if you want a Figuarts style, Street Fighter figure, judging by this, it's okay for the price. It's okay. It's definitely not as good as the official one. Everything's a bit looser, everything's a bit more exposed, but the overall figure is okay enough. A few loose joints here and there, but you can definitely retighten that yourself with just a little bit of, again, a little bit of super glue dropped into the joints. That could help. Again, keep moving the joint until the glue has dried. Don't stop moving it or else you just glue the thing shut. So, crap, not worth it. Get the Figuarts version. Okay, but still get the Figuarts version because it's just better. Okay for the price. So just make sure you don't get cheated out by spending money for an official one but then getting a fake one in return. And if you really can't afford the official stuff, these are decent enough toys, I guess. Just not that one. That one's just filthy. Don't get that one. Subscribe, suggest, and comment below. Because take care, have a nice day. I will see you next Faiz.